Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September 20th BOCC meeting. Would you all please rise for the pledge? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, Fader's making coffee. Look out.
Okay, first thing we have on our agenda, gentlemen, are the minutes. Do you have any more additions or corrections?
No.
I don't. No.
Go ahead, Joe.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, held on Tuesday, September 13th, 2022, as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, September 13th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next thing we have on our agenda is planning. And the first thing we have is a public hearing for proposed subdivision. So would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver,
Here.
Administrator Anderson,
Here.
Attorney McClure,
Here.
and Melinda Fuller. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed subdivision amendment application of the Swearingen two-lot moderate subdivision and boundary line adjustment submitted by David Posner and Karl Jeffries on property located at 11245 and 11145 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.34 acres more or less and 3.80 acres more or less located south of Road M and west of Road 20, situated in Section 14, Township 36 North, Range 17 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, September 20th, 2022 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioner's Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com/public/home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions.
Okay, thank you, Melinda. All right, Don. We have,
David, would you come up? Mr. Posner's here.
good morning.
Travis, can you go to the two individual plats, the other one first, please? No, the other single. There you go. So this is a little convoluted, but so if you'll look and see the blue depicted lines is the original existing subdivision. It's two lots bordering the county road. And at the lower right of lot 1 and lot 2, there's a 60-foot easement for access to lot 2 across Swearinger's property. Swearinger did the subdivision, so he owns the remaining 70-some acres. So what this first step needs to be, the first amendment to this subdivision, is to do a boundary line adjustment. And they are taking the property there from the southeast of lot 2, and they are adjoining it to lots 1 and lot 2 on the west. Both lots will still be over 3 acres. That plat would be recorded first as a boundary line adjustment, first amendment to those 2 lots.
So what's the purpose of changing it now instead of
Well,
in the,
Part 2 of this, which is
Okay.
a second amendment to the subdivision, is they're consolidating both lots. So after this is done with the boundary line adjustment, they'll consolidate it all into just one piece.
so it's gonna be lot 1 or lot 2, not 1
Right.
and 2?
But because it's an existing subdivision with the boundary line adjustment, that's gonna be the First Amendment. And then the consolidation will be the Second Amendment.
And you own everything around it to the north, or I'm sorry, to the west and the south?
To the west and the south will still be owned by the Swearingens, from whom we
Okay.
bought the 2 lots.
Yeah, Swearingen has the property south and west.
Right. And they're the ones that created the original,
Correct.
these 2 lots originally.
Right, and in the boundary line adjustment, they're swapping exact acreage for exact acreage.
So I guess my question still is, what's the need if you're gonna combine it into one lot? Why do you need the boundary line adjustment?
The first adjustment was to not lose the southeast part, should the easement be, developed. And then the part to the south that is being moved up, the boundary being adjusted up, is so that the Swearingens can access the rest of their property. There's a wash there, a stream bed, and so they asked that we move it north 60-plus feet. We moved it up 75 to give them the benefit of that. And to keep the purchase acreage consistent, we moved it to the west. Now, were you asking why are we combining them?
Well, I mean, that's the next question. I'm just saying, if you're combining them, why do you need to even move the boundary lines? Because the boundary line is what we're looking at first, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that's my question on the boundary line adjustment, knowing that you're going to combine them. I mean, you're moving,
So this is the old boundary line now.
yep,
This
correct,
little blue one.
yep.
So for us to retain use of the southeast corner when they develop, should they develop the easement road for their access to their property,
See, this is the old boundary here.
that's number
This was
one.
here,
Number
and
two
they're
is
doing
that
this.
takes away access from the southern of the 2 lots, the road access. And we never intend to sell the rest, part of the subdivision. So for us to be able to have it all accessed from the main road was simpler, and I believe it was more in compliance and in the spirit of the rules that, for access and utilities.
Okay. All right, questions?
Would you like to see the,
This is,
I guess it's less amount of information on the
Well,
consolidated lot?
I'm looking at both of them because
Okay,
the other
yeah.
one I have on my computer has it red line, where I'm looking at the red lines.
Right.
Um,
So the whole southeast corner of Lot 2 is going to go away and all become on the west side of the property?
yeah.
Correct.
You're basically doing this and this.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
you're just moving.
Moving it all north and
Yeah.
extending it west.
Gotcha.
And that 60-foot easement to Lot 2 of the subdivision will be vacated in Amendment 2,
Okay.
so that can be used however Swearingers
Right.
wanna use their
Yeah,
property.
so that'll just be gone. So they'll still be able to access, okay.
I'm good. I got it.
Questions?
No,
I mean, it's just,
Fine, it doesn't-
it's pretty busy right here,
Yeah.
looking at it. It's
Sure.
pretty convoluted when you want to start looking at it to make good sense. So the red line drawings for me are better. But I see what you're trying to do. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before I open it up for public comment?
No, sir?
Okay. Well, at this point in time, we will open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public comment session of this, and I will bring this back to the commissioners. So we are just looking at the boundary line adjustment today is all we're looking at, correct?
We're gonna do both, but this is the first step, first amendment to the subdivision.
All right.
You guys got any problem?
What's that?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. I move to approve this proposed subdivision amendment application of the Swearingen two-lot moderate subdivision and boundary line adjustment submitted by David Posner and Karl Jeffries, located on property at 11245 and 11145 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.34 acres, more or less, and 3.8 acres, more or less.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed subdivision amendment application of the Swearingen two-lot moderate subdivision and boundary line adjustment submitted by David Posner and Karl Jeffries on properties located at 11245 and 11145 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.34 acres more or less and 3.8 acres more or less. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll close this public hearing.
Well, we're still got the next part of the public hearing. Same public hearing, it's just doing it in two pieces so it's not so convoluted.
Okay, so if that's not on here, Ian stated is that, can we proceed with it?
It's still amending, the subdivision. It's just, we just separated it up so that there's two plats so that it's clear, as you can tell, trying to depict
It's,
what's going on
okay,
and follow the path.
So it's all part of the same thing.
It's still amending it. We're amending
So
it
now
with
we're
the boundary line
combining-
adjustment, we're amending it to consolidate the lots, with the boundary line
to one
adjustment.
line, one lot. Okay,
But to try and depict that all on one plat would be a mess for the assessor's office and everybody trying to follow the recording of what transpired.
Give me 1 second. I think we're fine. I think that was depicted on the public notice that there is going to be the boundary line adjustment and the amendment. And so
Okay.
I would suggest that we
Just-
reopen the public hearing because I don't think that we addressed that second component on the
well, we
record.
didn't,
No.
so I will
Yep.
do that again, so, okay. All right, anything else you want to present to now the consolidation of lots 1 and 2 into lot
Right.
1?
That would be the next, there you go. So the second amendment of the Swearingen moderate would be to consolidate the newly boundary line adjusted lots 1 and 2 into lot 1A and vacate the 60-foot access easement that previously went to lot 2. The existing utilities go to the house, the cabin there on the north, and they have a current driveway access there, and that's all that's gonna be used.
Okay. Questions,
It
gentlemen?
also kinda helps clear up on, for some reason, on the north, boundary of the subdivision, it didn't hit the property line. Somehow it got skewed off to the southwest, so this will line that subdivision north line with the property line, so there's not a random little triangle strip there, so it helps clear that up in the same process.
Question, gentlemen? No. Okay, well then I will open, would you like to add anything? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Well, then I'll open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application of the consolidation of lots 1 and 2, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this hearing, and I will bring it back to the commissioners, gentlemen.
I don't have anything.
All right, I don't have any problem with it, it's fine.
Okay.
I move we approve the boundary line adjustment and vacation of the 60-foot easement, access easement, submitted by David Posner and Karl Jeffries on properties located 11245 and 1145 Road 20, Cortez.
Is that gonna take care of it?
Did I cover it?
And the lot consolidation,
And the lot consolidation.
just for clarity.
Now you're making it.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to accept the consolidation of lots 1 and 2 into lot 1A, submitted by David Posner and Karl Jeffries on properties located at 11245 and 11145 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado, and vacating the 60-foot easement.
Yeah.
I think I got it all.
I think so.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will close the public hearing. All right, I think we have it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, it's past 9:10, so we're going to go right into our next public hearing, and I believe we do have the gentleman for our 9:10 public hearing. So would you call the roll, Melinda?
Another chair? Okay.
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver,
Here.
Administrator Anderson,
Here.
and Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Melinda Fuller. Oh. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of regarding a proposed single-lot development in AR3-9 rezoning application submitted by Kuenzler Enterprise Family, LLP, agent Keenen Lovett, on property located at 4406 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 152.79 acres, more or less, located north of Road D, west of Highway 160/491, situated in Section 19, Township 35 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, September 20, 2022, at 9:10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main Street, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online service at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com/public/home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 24th day of August, 2022.
All right, thank you, Melinda. All right, Don?
All right, the Kienzlers are, this is simple, straightforward. They're looking to create a single lot development, separate the house and a few acres from their 150 some odd farm. So they'll have 3 acres with the house and outbuildings, and then the ag land to remain.
There are not near enough lines on this.
You need me to get the pointer out and explain it
No,
to you?
this one I
Get the
can,
stick.
I'm pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Would you like to add anything?
No, yeah, that's all accurate, and the remaining approximately 150 will stay in the family partnership, and the remaining 3 will go to the Helen Kienzler, who's been living on the property for many years. It's all doing this for the state planning and tax reasons.
Sure.
So
Okay.
there'll be no change in use or really ownership of the property.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions?
No.
Okay, well then, I will open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close it, and I will bring it back to the commissioners, gentlemen.
No, I have nothing further. It's pretty,
Okay.
pretty straight, like they said.
That was probably
All right.
not always people, so it's no.
I would so move, we approve the single lot development and AR 3 through 9 rezoning applications submitted by Kuenzler Enterprise Family, LLP, agent Keenen Lovett, located on property at 4406 Road 21, Cortez.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed single lot development and AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by the Kuenzler Enterprise Family LLP, agent Keenen Lovett, on property located at 4406 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 152.79 acres, more or less. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will close this public hearing.
Thank
Okay.
you.
There you go.
Thanks, Keenan.
See ya. All right.
Then we actually, we have added a few items to the list here, but it's all just signatures.
So,
Like-
okay.
We've got a Mylar for the Bright Star Campground, which was formerly the Cush Campground Compound.
South
Then
on
we've got
H
the,
Road.
Yeah. We've
Okay.
got the Crowley Mylar that was approved just a couple weeks ago. We've got the special use permit that went with the porch swing PUD that we had the Mylar signed a month or so ago. This is the special use permit that goes along with PUDs. And then we have the Rocky Mountain Meats special use permit for signature. He confirmed with me yesterday, part of the conditions of the motion was the CDOT access permit, and CDOT did send that to us. No changes required back in the end of May, 1st of June. But he confirmed with me yesterday, Mr. Fouts, that they are tying into the city sewer system, sanitation district.
Good.
They are just trying to work how to reduce their BOD levels so that the sanitation district can accept that waste. But that was the second condition, along with dust control on the road up and when they're operating.
Okay, gosh. That was in May?
Yeah, that was in May. They
Been a
were,
long time,
they were kind of tentatively planning on opening the end of June, but
right?
I don't know if it's the sanitation line itself or just trying to meet the BOD ratios so that it can get processed, 'cause.
Or just trying to get across CDOT's right away.
Yeah, I didn't ask him on that issue. It's just they're trying to get their levels and, without dumping tens of thousands of gallons to mix with it to dilute the blood waste for
Right.
the plant to be able to
Right.
process it efficiently, effectively.
Okay, so we just have
Mhm.
signatures, all right.
We got a pen with ink.
This time?
So gentlemen, I think if we're gonna discuss this, I think we should either do it up here in the public setting or continue this out for a week and look at it. Okay. Let's just make a quick record that we're gonna table that Mylar till next week. Yeah.
So while you're finishing up on that, Don, I'll go ahead and just make the announcement. We did have one Mylar to sign that had which was for the Crowley subdivision. Our concern that was brought to our attention yesterday was the 24-foot easement dedication instead of the 60-foot road right-of-way that goes through there from would be the north and the south. There's 60-foot dedicated, and this Mylar says that it wants to be restricted to 24.5 feet. So just to give the attorney time to review that to see what that actually means, we'll bring that back to us next week. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
I think that's all we've got right now.
Okay. All right. Okay, public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during the public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment and I'll bring it back up to public safety. And the first on our list is for Sheriff Nowlin.
Good morning.
Good
Hope you
morning.
didn't give me the bad mic, so, well. Ta-da. Well, the first thing that I wanted to cover with you this morning was the calls for service for the month of August. 1,621 calls for service is what we responded and answered to. Our water disputes are becoming less and less. We're still getting a few, but most of them are starting to get resolved. One thing that affects the county clerk's office is 145 bin inspections that we did just in the month of August. So there's a lot of vehicle transactions and whatnot going on. 130 traffic contacts. We're seeing an uptick in motor vehicle crashes. 8 of them that we've investigated in the month of August were hit and run crashes. Several of those have been followed up and cited. The others have not been found. 5 stolen vehicles. We're starting to see that that's pretty consistent, unfortunately, every single month. We continue to do a lot of security checks both day and night. As you can see, 169 just in the month of August. Probably one of the biggest problems that we have still are livestock at large, or those that the livestock are on the highway. Getting a lot of calls, especially along 491, 160, and Highway 184. The thing that I'll bring your attention to that we're starting to get a lot more calls about would be dogs at large. We've had 4 dog bites. These are people either bicycling or walking on the county roads. Those have been cited and in court at this time. Any questions about what we've covered as far as calls for services? August.
Those car thefts, are they from people's houses or?
Some are in people's houses, that's right. That's where the majority of them are. In fact, I think all 5 of these have been. Leaving the keys inside the vehicle has been the number 1 problem. So, where are your keys now? Okay.
Mine's in my pocket, but
Yeah.
I got some at the house that's in
Yeah.
the vehicle.
Yeah, just
Oh,
this
sure,
morning.
tell everybody.
Yeah, sure. Just this morning, I had to visit with the gentleman who was in his shower getting ready for work and left his car running outside, right next to the highway. And it's like, we're trying to make sure this doesn't happen, but it's almost a sign, come and take me. And it's unfortunate. We've also been recovering a lot of out of jurisdiction vehicles that have been stolen. So we're pretty busy in the auto theft world right now, unfortunately.
I think, didn't I read somewhere where Colorado's the #1 state for car thefts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, sure is.
Everybody around here is doing their part for the cause, right?
I'm telling you, and take your valuables out, lock your car, take your keys. And explaining that kill switches are becoming very common at most of the auto place floors, and they're not that expensive. And that's what we have. That's what I've installed in every single one of our vehicles is kill switches. So that's really a way to help deter. If you have a remote start, it's the same thing. That's a little bit more pricey, but they work well. You can't drive off with that vehicle if you do not have the key or the key fob. The newer vehicles are actually being manufactured that way, that you have to have that key fob or the key in that vehicle before it can even engage. So those are safe. And that's, the thing is that the state statute, prohibits people from leaving their vehicles running unattended. But here in the rural West, it's not, we're just trying to educate folks that times have changed, okay? We have to lock our houses, lock everything up because it will walk away. It's unfortunate, but I don't know how else that we can stop that from happening other than just catching them at it at the time. For the jail report this month, for the month of August, this is our transport. We had 13 transports, 256 hours, 6,333 miles were traveled in extraditions and transporting from and to the county detention center. The cost for, as far as per diem, motel and meals, you'll see that was $852.52 this month. Total number of deputies utilized was 8. For the billing for the city of Cortez, you can see that we've had quite a few, 35 municipal inmates from the city of Cortez. They were billed at $100 per day. With 35 days, that's $3,500. Dolores County, total of 60 days in the month of August. They only have 2 right now in the detention center. I only have 67 in the detention center as of today checking. So Dolores County was billed $6,000 for $100 per day per inmate cost. Department of Correction holds in the month of August. There was a total number of 85 days. We have the same amount, I have 7 right now in DOC holds. All of these have already been transferred to the Department of Corrections. They were billed $8,500, and you know that we won't see that full amount. This is the total number of prisoner days.
What, Steve, back up a minute. Why are they taking so long? What, I mean, I thought we had that figured out with the DOC. Total number of days, 85 days?
Mhm.
Why?
85 days at $100.
Yeah, why are they taking so long to get them out of here?
Well, they're getting better than what they were, but I don't know. It depends on what their intake, and we can only send them when they say that they're available to intake. Department of Corrections, has to deal with DOC prisoners from all over the state. So we just kind of fall in line when they're available, when they say that we can take them, and they'll accept them. I wish we could take them up to Denver at the intake facility and just drop them off, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, there you go.
Martha's
Just-
Vineyard might have a few spots.
It just seems like it's getting longer and longer all the time again. I mean, that's almost 3 months
Mhm.
that we're not getting compensated for that at all.
Some of them,
So we're all
that's
paying
correct.
for it?
Well, if you look at the number of days that these DOC sentenced inmates the longest were 21 days.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, you're right. And it could be a COVID issue, it could be staffing issues, I don't know. But we notify them when they're ready. I mean, that's constant, and they let us know when the date will be that they'll either pick them up or we take them to them. And most of the time, we have to take them to them. Total of arrests and releases per day from August the 1st to the 31st. You can see that it's back and forth. If you look at the total numbers there, 129 arrests with 127 releases. So it's in and out, in and out. And this kind of shows you what our populations were from August the 1st to the 31st. Highest that we had in there was 92, I believe, a couple of days in there. Like I said, today we have 67. That's really probably the lowest that we've ever been since the first of the year. And I can't tell you the reasons why, but I'm okay with that. For the billings of these agencies, like I went through, City of Cortez was billed $3,500 for those inmates, 35 days. And the detention center, DOC prisoners, 8,500, Dolores County, 6,000, and of course our $100 per day for total inmates of 2,481 days is $248,100 is our cost. For dollars, money that was obtained through sheriff's fees and contracts and whatnot that was delivered to the county treasurer's office. The breakdown is there. Total figure is $99,334.52. Money goes in, money goes out. it's business. I think what I'll do is I'll pass on that one right now. I want to bring up two grants and ask for a review and approval. This is the court security grant from the state judicial, paying for only one deputy for the year of starting July 1 through June 30th of next year. $57,932 is what was granted. If you look at what we received, it was twice that amount last year. It's always been, they provided two, paid for two. This year, they went to a different type of formula, and for some reason, we just don't fit that ticket.
And Sheriff Nowell and I actually worked with the chief judge in the judicial district to try to
Yes.
get a third position.
We did.
We wrote a letter and submitted numbers showing some of the tax declines here in the county. And we were hopeful that we could get a third, and they cut us back to one.
So we're only gonna have one person will be all that's in that courtroom, or all,
No, that's the only one that they pay for. The other three we pay for. Yeah. You can't have 60,000 people going into that courtroom a year with only one deputy. There's no way. We've already had multiple arrests from disturbances that have happened within the courtrooms this year. Yeah. So this is the grant that I'm asking, the budget, here's the budget for the 2022 to 2023.
so is this then being put 100% back onto the county? I mean, if we've lost, we're 2/3 paying for it now. Basically, with this grant, we're only gonna get one, and isn't that part of the state's obligation to pay for these?
Well, they're not obligated to pay for multiple. It's divvied up on a need basis.
So they're saying that we only need one.
They're saying
With
that they're
their
only
new-
gonna pay
with
for
their new
one.
formula,
That
yeah.
with the money they have allocated for this grant, they're only gonna allocate to this county one. As I said, we worked with the chief judge to send a letter to the folks. Again, we were hopeful that we would get two extra. I think the chief judge was as well.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah, the chief judge has always been very supportive in helping, even the court administrator, in trying to get additional funding to pay for the security deputies there at the court. Again, for the last 7 years, they paid for two. This is the first time that they're only paying for one. And a lot of it has to do with the way that they've changed their formulas. And they've got, 62 courts now, state courts within the state, that they have to, that they open up to, for grant funding. They changed their formula for whatever reason, and we didn't fall within whatever they felt that we didn't need. So, it's crazy. They're putting their state funding somewhere else, and I can't tell you where, but it's certainly not.
And I think that's really what's happening. I think they're just dedicating less money to this program, and there's more courts, and so there's less money to go around, and so we, because of our population, we ended up in that category. I mean, they did it very formulaically.
Yeah.
So how do we determine then with the chief judge what is necessary to provide?
What, repeat that again?
So along with the chief judge, you guys had written to try and get two more, correct?
Get them to pay for two. We
Right.
have 4 there, get them to pay for 2. They have in the past.
Okay.
We've asked, I've asked in the past for 4, for them to pay for all of them. This year, again, the last 2 years, I've always been asking for an additional one. They paid for 2, we wanted 3, have pay for 3. And as we did this time in that grant. All of us supported it, but it didn't work out that way, apparently.
But basically, you have 4 there all the time.
Right, Have to, yeah. Have to. We have 5 courtrooms. So, and it's constantly going, so.
It makes a lot of sense where they can order us to build $11 million or however many $1 million facility that we built there for,
Yeah,
but they
Exactly.
can't help us provide the security for it.
that's been
That's
my
pathetic.
argument too. It's just not right.
So my question remains is how do we determine how many personnel have to be in there?
By
When the
safety
state's
and
telling
numbers.
us they will only fund 1, how do we determine that it has to be 4?
By numbers, for the total numbers per year, that's what, for the safety of that, yes. And how many court dates that there are, I mean, this is a Monday through Friday operation. 5 days a week.
Understand that, but it's still not answering my question.
Is there an algorithm
How,
or something?
what determines that?
Again, if you look at the number
What are
of
the
people-
numbers that
Yes.
determine that? I guess is what I'm asking is it, what determines that when the state is saying, the state is telling me is that they're not gonna pay for it because for whatever reason,
Mhm.
they're only gonna fund 1.
Yep.
So, we have 4 there. Where are the numbers determined? Who determined the numbers of what needs to be there?
Now, that comes from me. The number of people that go in and out of that facility
Which is what number?
every single day. And the total number is well over 50,000 people go in there annually, in and out of there, okay? That's a lot of people, and when you have jury trials, you'll have up to 60, 70 people or citizens in there for being selected for a jury. And when that happens on a weekly basis, that's a lot of people. And you can't have just 1 or 2 deputies in there, because we have to make sure that weapons do not enter into that facility. That's why that x-ray machine is there. That's why we have the security protocols that we do right now. Yep.
And Commissioner, I just want to clarify, what the state pays out through this rural fund for the court security, they're not paying that out based on the number of people they think should be covering the courthouse or not covering the courthouse.
Right.
It's just formulaic. So I mean, this isn't a judgment by them one way or the other. This isn't them saying only one's necessary. I just wanted to make that clear. And this is just money that they pay out to help assist the rural courthouses. But they're not making a judgment like we're going to pay for 1 because that's what we think's necessary to ensure the safety of the courthouse. It's more formulaic in terms of this is how much money we have, this is how many rural courthouses we have, and this is what we're going to pay out to each.
Yeah. And by state statute, I have to provide security. That's the only thing I can do. When we had the combined courts, it was actually, there was combined courts. Municipal was also with county and district court in the old Justice Building. It was a much smaller square footage, and it wasn't as busy. There were 2 deputies there. Now that we have a bigger facility, it's much larger. There's a lot more people. You have state probation in there as well as those courtrooms and those judges and the staffing and the public that goes in and out, as well as the prisoners or those that have been cited and summons to court going in and out of there every day. It's a lot of people. And by the incidents that have happened this year, I'm glad that I had 4 there. I do.
Got one of those left field fishing questions that comes. Can our chief judge order state to pay for those people?
No. He takes the same orders that we do when it comes down to this funding and stuff. But he has a say in that, and
Yeah.
so does the Board of County Commissioners, which goes toward, you guys see all of that? You sign off on that grant requesting? That's been happening every year. And we've been asking and asking for more, for them to pay for more, and they should. Could be just another unfunded mandate, okay? They don't want to pay for whatever reason, and all the courts that they have, but their complaint with us, or to us, was that they had received less funding from the state legislators for court security.
All that said, I mean, ultimately, this board approves budgets. And so
Correct.
you guys decide what you're going to approve and not approve.
Are they defunding across the state for our courts?
Yeah, there were some that were definitely reduced, up to 2. But you had some that had never applied for, who ended up with 1 and 2. So it really was spread out because you had more sheriff's offices applying for the court security funding than what we'd had in recent years. Yep.
I know we went down a rabbit hole, and this is just for a security grant for one person. It just
I know.
brings up a lot of questions of that's, and now that I understand it, you are making that determination.
Yes.
I think it would be worth a further conversation, and we don't have to have it now.
Whatever you'd like, but I'll tell you, for the safety of the people there, that's the least that we can have. Yeah.
Questions or comments on this grant, gentlemen?
No,
Commissioner?
I don't have any.
Okay, then.
I move we approve the court security grant for the 22-23 budget.
Second.
It's been moved in and seconded to accept the Montezuma County Sheriff Court Security Grant 2022-23 budget in the amount of $57,932. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This is the jail-based behavior service grant that we're actually a sub-grantee from La Plata County Sheriff's Office. This pays for the personnel and the medical services for mental health. That's what this is. So our portion of what La Plata County's been able to obtain and finance is $31,289, which is the same as what it was last year. They did have extended or extra funding for their grant period that ended June 30th this year. And they actually provided and paid for the 15 new portable radios for our detention center that we didn't have to pay for, that came out of their grant. So that really helped a lot.
Questions?
No.
Okay.
I move to approve this Montezuma County Sheriff's Jail-Based Behavior Service Grant for 2022 to 2023 in the amount of $31,289.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Jail-Based Behavioral Service Grant 2022-23 budget year for the Montezuma County Sheriff's Department in the amount of $31,289. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. The next thing would be the Southern Health Partners medical program for the Montezuma County Detention Center starting January 1 through December 31 of next year. They have provided 2 different costs of what that would be, and I will show you the options there. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, or 7 days a week with 8 hours a day. Beginning January 1 of next year, we have to have every person, that inmate that comes in or arrestee, has to be tested for and evaluated for drug or alcohol substance addiction and abuse. Those that are suffering from drug addiction or abuse have a program now with different drugs that have to be monitored and administered to them to help them get through withdrawals within the facility, and to move them on into hopefully recovering from that. We are not going to be able to handle that type of responsibility with these inmates. So reaching out to and looking at some of the other sheriff's offices that have done the same thing and are affected by the same problem. Southern Health Partners is definitely the best that we have. They have been with the La Plata County Sheriff's Office in their jail for the last 3 or 4 years, I believe. It's been a very, very beneficial program. Keeps them, it does everything that we're required to do for these inmates because they're in our care and custody when they're in our facility. So this program, as you can see, the hours there is the LPNs plus the RN would be there 8 days or 5 days a week. There's 7 days, both weekends, because right now the registered nurse that I have in the facility is only there Monday through Friday. And most of our arrests come in on the weekends. So this is actually helping that coverage for those weekend arrestees and the requirements that we're going to have on that new jail bill. So the medical director and physician will actually would be there every Tuesday for 3 hours. They oversee everything that the nurses and the medical team do. The drugs would be ordered and administered through them, not us. So they also provide the training and will assist, we'll work together on the jail management program that will take place, as well as the training for our staff that is there during that period of time. The cost is $256,548 annually. There's also a cost pool of $30,000 could be added to that would cover things that are not covered in this plan. As you can see, this is the things that are covered. I'll try not to break that up. That are covered, that are included in that $256,000 annual cost. But with the cost pool, for the first year, having that ability to make sure it covers these things that could be something that we're going to experience that we have in the past and continue to, that may not be covered, that would not be covered in that basic plan. This cost pool of $30,000 would cover that. Anything that is not spent by under that cost pool would be returned back to the county at the end of the year, and it would just start over. I'm just asking that we probably consider that $30,000 just for the first year to see if it's not dipped into, it comes right back. We're not out anything, but it's basically kind of an insurance coverage for that.
So this is all part of our discussion that we had yesterday in our workshop, going through the budget process, and correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, that this is can all come out of the LEA fund. So it doesn't necessarily have any real significant impact on us as far as the general fund. So it's all part of the LEA. So I think we'd asked most of the questions yesterday. This is under unfinished business under the Southern Health Partners. But do you have any other questions, gentlemen?
How much do you guys spend on pharmaceuticals right now?
Right now, it's $100 per inmate, and they're seeing probably at least 20 a week. And so the pharmaceuticals, as far as the mental health prescription drugs, are paid for out of JBBS. That covers that. Plus the psychiatrist that is administering those. The medical costs for us, like I said, is $100 per inmate visit. That includes the medications. That could be anywhere from, it's generally ranging about $150 to $200 a month is a good average for every single month. Yeah, that is not covered. Plus the visits back and forth, transported to the walk-in or to the hospital, so on and so forth, every day. In this case, we would not have to leave the facility unless it was a real emergency.
Do you have anything else to add on this, Ian? Pretty,
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. You know, I see in the cost pool portion, there's a portion for mental health services, and I know that we have some of that already covered. How does that work, Sheriff? I mean, are we gonna be able to reduce some of our costs on the mental health side, or?
Yeah, we wouldn't be using the mental health telepath or any of that because it's already paid for under JBBS and the Access that we're using and paying for already. So, and that's $350 a month with Access. So we wouldn't be using that at all. Yes.
So that would just be left in that pool,
Yes.
and then we would just recoup if we didn't use the other services.
Right, exactly. It's just
Gotcha.
the x-rays and things like that. Those are things that I'm having to pay out of my budget that I won't have to if we have this. Same.
and like I said, this can all come out of the LEA.
Yeah. Is this just a one-year contract?
It's a one-year contract,
Okay.
yeah. And what I would ask is you consider approving this for next year so that I can get with the administrators and the nurses and the physician and our staff can get with them to start developing the training protocol that will be coming, as well as the policies and procedures for this program starting January 1.
And if we're not satisfied with this, is there a way out?
Yep,
Okay.
you can be ended, you bet, it can. I think there's a 30-day notice.
I would so move we approve the Southern Health Partners Jail Services contract with the $30,000 cost pool option.
Well, and this is just a quote at this point. I mean,
This is a
there's no
quote.
contract.
There's no
Okay,
contract.
all
This
right,
is a
no
quote
contract.
for that, okay? So the contract would come once you say
Pardon me.
that, yes, that's
Okay.
what you would approve to do. Then I'll bring them back, and I'll bring them here so that we can produce that contract and,
So you just need to go ahead to do this.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're not committing to anything until we
committing.
see that contract with the contractual language.
Okay.
We're not committing to anything.
I
Just to
just
go
need your
forward.
permission to move
Okay.
forward.
I would withdraw the motion and make another motion that we go forward with this.
Okay, I just need your
On the
permission to move
7-day per
forward.
week
Yes.
program,
7 days per week.
Yeah,
7 days per
Okay.
week in the cost pool.
all right.
I think you have your direction. I don't know
Yeah.
if we need that formally or not, but the direction is there.
Yeah. I think we might as well do it formally just to give the direction to move forward with this. But again, at this point, we're not committing to anything. We're just asking the sheriff to move forward. And once we see that contract, then we can look at that.
Okay.
You haven't signed
Good
anything.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
I'm,
moved.
you wanna do it, or you?
I did.
No.
I withdrew and then did it again.
So if you'll second it, I'll move it.
We'll
forward.
second, okay. I'll second it.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to give the sheriff direction to move forward in regards to the Southern Health Partners for the jail services, and bring the contract back with the direction of moving forward with the 7-day-a-week and the cost pool, value-added services. All
Okay.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll move forward with it and get back with them. I wanted to bring up the last thing here that 2 weeks ago, on a Wednesday, the walk-in refrigerator freezer unit at the detention center went kaput again. It seems like it happens annually. It's old. It's probably at least 25 years old. So before parts could arrive, the jail staff had to actually remove the frozen foods and take them out to the fairgrounds where we've done it before and stored them there. Well, that following Saturday, okay, was commodity pickup time, okay? They didn't know or didn't look to see that this bulk food items, okay, was not part of the commodity and was distributed, okay? And it's, what a sad deal. It wasn't an intentional, it was a mistake, but unfortunately, you know, what do you do with 3 whole hams, okay? I don't know who got those, but, you know, that was Thanksgiving early. There was a total cost of $818.71. It isn't, I think probably the breakdown was there wasn't enough communications. We've never had this problem before, but now we have been able to have procedures to correct this so that if it ever happens again, that this won't disappear. So I just want you to know there's $818.71 that the sheriff's office in the county has donated to the commodities in Montezuma County. There's no way to recover that. So I just wanted to let you know that these have had to be reordered out of the food budget line on them in the detention center. So
Is the walk-in fixed? Or the freezer?
I believe that it is now.
Okay.
Yeah. I just hope we can keep the thing going. I really do. It's just another thing that we'll have to look at tackling down the road. But if we can keep it going, it seems to last for at least a year. And we'll have different parts that break down, and it's old. But it can be repaired. And as far as I know, there isn't any problem with finding parts right now for that refrigeration and freezing unit, but who
It's the
knows?
gas that goes in
Who
those
knows?
parts.
Yeah, who knows? Okay, so, anyway, the last thing that I have is that I need to get your signature on, it was the Forest Service Co-op grant. They apparently need our signatures again for a modification of a change in the cooperator name on the federal form.
Have you looked at it, Ian?
It's just like, this is ridiculous. So, you know, we've already signed this, Commissioner Candelaria, with the board's approval back in the Forest Service. Co-op agreement came along in the month of April, May.
So we'll look at it, and then I'll give Ian time to review it, and then
Okay.
we'll get it back to you this afternoon.
right.
As
Get
long as
back to
there's
me.
no issues with it, we'll keep moving.
Yeah, doesn't change anything, but yeah, I don't get it, whatever.
Okay. All right. So then I just need to sign this. We don't need anything formally. Okay?
I would do a formal motion. I mean, we are modifying the grant, so.
Okay. I won't sign it yet.
I don't understand it.
I move to sign this modification of grant or agreement with the U.S. Forest Service 20-LE-1102-1300-031.
Second.
Is that-
Oh, sorry, too soon. Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to sign the modification grant or agreement between the USDA Forest Service and Montezuma County. And it's just the modification of the name. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Who would have ever thought that changing the name of an entity would require so much energy and effort?
They apparently have more time than anybody else to go through and want to change a few words in something. So just the cooperator's name, I don't get it, but, okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I was just gonna say, if you had, if you had time, you don't look quite like Clarissa, but I will. All right, George.
Make this quick so Matt can get up here. For the month of August, we had 13 cases with the coroner's office. Hospice had 6, and we did 11 autopsies. And for bringing it up to date, that's total is 174 cases. 115 of those were coroner cases, 59 were hospice. We're still at 5 motor vehicle accidents, 6 suicides, 6 overdoses, 5 homicides, and 137 autopsies, which brings the income in at $27,400 for the year. And I'm probably going to regret saying this. I'm going to knock on wood before I do. It's kind of strange how the death, I guess, happens around the area. The last couple weeks, it's been slower, and I shouldn't have said that. But it's strange. It's not only here, it's La Plata County, it's Archuleta County. All of them are the same way. Last week was the first or second time this year we did not do any autopsies. And I've talked to them, they say, yeah, it's just kind of weird. It laid down, so it's kind of scary because usually whenever it does that, it comes back with a vengeance. But we'll take what we can get. It's actually working out good for me because right now I have all my quarterly reports for the state for the violent death, drugs, overdoses, and then the public health department's wanting a bunch of data on suicides, and they're wanting it all the way back to 2010. And from 10 to 14, whenever I came in, we don't have anything digital, so I have to go through every single case or every single death one at a time, so it's taken me some time. But other than that, that's all I have. Do you guys have anything?
No.
No?
Thank you, George.
Okay.
All
You guys have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
George. Okay, Matt. It's Tuesday, and it's rare that we see you here on Tuesday.
Indeed.
So,
Just
welcome.
one of the random Tuesdays that I do not have court. We are going to be, I personally am going to be in trial next week. So Clarissa will be here for our budget presentation, just so the commissioners are aware. She's much friendlier than me, so that'll work out. So a couple things going on in the district attorney's office. We would mention that we had the Colorado District Attorney Council annual conference that we attended. I will let the commissioners know that, again, I've always been impressed with the quality of individual that we have working at the district attorney's office, part of what drew me to the job. And Clarissa Feely was actually nominated and won the Office Administrator of the Year award from the CDAC conference, and wholly deserving of that honor. She is for sure one of the best in the state. I think she proves it every time she steps into the office and makes it an inviting and friendly place to work. From that perspective, we are still down 2 attorneys. We are looking. The last interview that we had made an offer. The 6th also made an offer, and that person went with the 6th offer. I don't think it was a monetary issue. I think it was simply a area that they wanted to be in. But we are actively seeking additional assistance for our attorneys. I will let the commissioners know that I was looking at various sort of requirements as it relates to cases. So the ABA, the American Bar Association, has a set of standards that they release as it relates to case numbers. And generally speaking, what they would want to see is a person handling no more than 100 cases at a given time. So no more than 100 cases on your plate at any one given time. And from our perspective, I will let the commissioners know that we anticipate having somewhere south of 2,000 cases in county court alone, just in county court. And we have 2 attorneys covering that right now, two and a half. Drew Buffington is doing some contract work for us, but that's mostly in the county of Dolores. And so you can see that those numbers are quite a bit higher than they should be. I will let you know that one of those attorneys right now in our office, Caroline Beldheisen, who's doing an excellent job for us, but she is awaiting bar results. And so we will know in October that she has passed the bar. I'm sure she has. But I want the commissioners to be aware of that situation. It's having an impact on my availability. I'm handling quite a large docket, and it's having an impact on our attorneys overall. Again, we have attorneys rotating in to work Sunday shifts because now we have bond hearings that are occurring due to the 48-hour bond bill every Sunday. And if it's a holiday, if Monday, say, is a holiday, we'll also be having somebody cover a Monday shift as well. It is normal for us to have probably 2 in custody cases on any given Sunday, sometimes more, sometimes less, that a attorney has to prep, that one of our legal assistants has to put into our computer system, and that we have to make victims' rights contact with, and that all has to occur before 8:30 on Sunday, which is our specific scheduled bond hearing time. I let the commissioners know this because I wanted to mention, just kind of prime the pump ahead of our budget presentation, that letter that I sent out, I think it is very representative of the cost increase that's going to be associated, one, with the just general increase in cost of living due to inflation, but two, a number of deserving employees who do an excellent job for this community to provide the best possible assistance that they can. And so just wanted to throw that out there since I'm not going to be here next week. I will very much be in trial. So any questions that commissioners have, happy to answer. Mr. Candelaria, Commissioner Candelaria, as it related to your request for some additional information from the sheriff, I think I can also provide some assistance there as it relates to who's in the courtroom and how many deputies we legitimately need. Most of the time, you're going to find 2 courtrooms actively working. It is very much necessary to have a person from the sheriff's department in those courtrooms. Doesn't matter what kind of case is going. We recently got a criminal case from a dependency and neglect action that was ongoing where one of the individuals became...
Sure, and I wasn't questioning the necessity of the 4. Just as you stated, you use the ABA as criteria for your 100 cases per.
Yeah.
My question was, where's the criteria set? And the criteria basically is set by our sheriff.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that was my question. It was answered, and I'm not questioning whether we should have 2 in there or not. It's just, where do we get the numbers?
I would just note that from time to time, it's not every case, but certain cases, certainly my office would have a safety concern if there was not a deputy present in that courtroom doing their job. Deputy Begain, Deputy French, Deputy Herman all do, I think, excellent work for our county in the courthouse, and just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, I'm happy to open it up to any questions that you gentlemen might have. Happy to answer anything that I can.
We opened up and flowing pretty good in our courts. I mean, is there a backlog?
Very much so. No, we are clearing through that backlog. It's going to be a lengthy process, just in the way in which court works. I mean, we still have cases that right now are coming up that people are asking to have brought to trial for one reason or another, and those are butting up against the cases that we knew that this was going to be an issue. But I think we are steadily, I would say, working through that backlog of cases, and I anticipate that probably spring time of this next year that there's not going to be a noticeable backlog of cases at that point. That's probably a rough estimate, and I would have to look specifically at the numbers, but I think that our judiciary is doing an efficient job of moving those cases along to where they need to be.
Okay.
That's all I have. Gerald, you?
I don't.
Well,
Okay.
gentlemen, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time. I
Matt.
very much
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
Good to
We'll
see you.
see you next week, Clarissa.
You will see,
All right,
see the better looking of the two, so. You guys have a good
all right. See you later. Thanks, Matt. Okay, we'll move right on to unfinished business. First thing on our agenda, we have the decision on the farmer's market. We're not gonna make a decision today. As per our discussion yesterday, we did ask for more clarity and information on the parking lot of the museum. We actually went down there this morning, and the museum is opening up in October. So I don't know how that'll affect that parking situation for their request. So we can leave that on there, and when they bring us back more information, we can make a decision. We've already made the decision moving forward to give the sheriff direction regarding the Southern Health Partners and jail services. Jonathan Parker for the senior services waiver of fees for the structure. He does not have us his proposal. We discussed this yesterday in our workshop also. Very, very briefly, and he will be bringing that forth hopefully in the next 2 weeks, because next week we have budget presentations.
Yes, I'll be here October 4th.
So that will be forthcoming, no decisions based today. Next, we have our decision related to the landfill compost turner. Yesterday, we gave direction to our landfill manager to move forward to update the bids to allow for the larger turner, and those will be brought back to us within a 2 to 3 week period of time.
And
We
Commissioner,
also-
along those lines, last week we did award that bid to a company for that compost turner. I think per our discussion yesterday and after that bid was awarded, we realized that the product that we actually awarded was not within the specs of the RFP that was put out. So what I would suggest is that we make a motion to withdraw that award at this time, given that there was no compliance with or it didn't properly comply
RFP.
with the procurement policy in the RFP.
Okay.
I would so move that we withdraw the bid for the proposed landfill compost turner. That it was out of spec and out of bid.
And it would actually be the award
Right.
of the.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to withdraw the award that we made last week for the landfill compost turner due to the fact that it not comply with the RFP and the size that was submitted in the RFP. Any other further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we also had a conversation with our CSU extension agents, Greg Felson and Emily Lockhart. And today we're basically looking at a decision related to the 4-H CSU extension agent. And what they were asking for is that they do have, they're ready to put out their second formula funded agent to CSU, adding basically that person will take on the 4-H duties. And they have it categorized in percentages on their job description. And with that, it will eliminate our 4-H person, but they are then asking for a half-time person as their administrative assistant. So with that is all we have to do. Budgeting purposes, we can obviously, with the loss of the administrative assistant at full-time, we're just putting it back in as a part-time position. So I don't know if we need any further movement on that, or?
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know that we need a motion on this one. I think Greg was just gonna move forward with submitting that to CSU. So if you guys want to make a motion just to be safe, to give him that authority, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
You want to move that we be safe?
No. I move that we allow Greg Felson, the county extension agent presently, to move forward with the project decision to have the next extension agent take over the 4-H and from CSU program and the youth development part of the program also.
And I think the other element of that, as I understood it, was that CSU was actually going to be paying for that full-time position, financing it, advertising it, et cetera.
That's correct, other than our 15,000 that we put to that formula-funded agent.
Yeah.
So that would stay current.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
So it's been moved in, you guys are making this tough on me today. It's been moved and seconded to give our extension agent, CSU extension agent, the direction to move forward with the 4-H related formula-funded position to take over the 4-H program in Montezuma County, along with the part-time position for the administrative assistant.
Second. Or aye.
All those in favor? All those
I
in
got too
favor?
involved in listening to it.
Aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, gosh. All right,
This
a
is a
discussion and a decision today for Annex Number 3 project. Yesterday in our workshop, it was brought forth 2 weeks ago, actually, the conversation about moving the assessor's personnel into the basement of Annex Number 3 and allowing the clerk the ability to use their office in conjunction with the security for the elections process. They didn't have any cost items or quote for us. They did yesterday. And basically, we're looking at right at $5,000 for that improvement. We do have money in the capital budget that we can take that out of. So based on that, gentlemen, we need to make the decision for Dustin, the clerk, and the assessor to move ahead with the Annex 3 basement configuration remodel.
I move we approve the Annex 3 project for maintenance to proceed with remodeling the clerk's and assessor's office.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposal and move forward with the clerk assessor's office remodel for the basement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Ian.
Fairly brief report today. We are set for an advisement on the contempt proceedings in the Charles Fish land use matter. He does have an attorney now. That is set for tomorrow afternoon. And so he will be advised. We'll get a contempt hearing set, and we'll move forward with prosecuting that contempt proceeding. I have briefly chatted with his attorney, and I think the hope is that maybe this contempt proceeding will be incentive for him to start cleaning up that property. I know that I did meet with Mr. Fish back about 3 weeks ago, and there was some progress being made, but hopefully we can spur that forward. If not, certainly contempt is on the table, and we can ask for a fine or jail sanctions in the event that Mr. Fish is found guilty of contempt for failing to comply with that land use order that was issued and failing to clean up the property. Earlier today, I did, before the meeting call in, we did reset the Ellis-Lewis land use matter. The court's docket was fairly full, and as you know, we have the district court judge job turning over. The court issued an order to us. He didn't feel like, the judge didn't feel like he had time to issue an order after the trial setting before he relinquished his position. And so we did move that trial to February. That will be in front of the new district court judge. And so that has been reset. We'll see how that goes. So that's all I have to report today.
All right, very good. James Dietrich said that he got with me prior to the meeting. He does not have anything at this point in time. County Administrator, Travis.
Busy week. Myself and Commissioner Candelaria attended a Montezuma Water Commission regarding the user fees. I still have not heard anything back on that. That might be something that's still in limbo with Montezuma Water. We conducted a lot of interviews this week for our admin assistant, made a job offer, and hopefully they will be starting October 3rd, I believe. I think we got a good candidate. A lot of budget this week, extensive budget. I was able to talk to John Whitney. He's going to be presenting October 3rd, about 4 o'clock on the water or farmers bill.
Farm bill.
Farm bill. So we've got that scheduled. And then today we will be meeting at 3 o'clock to try to formalize a final plan on the Alkali Basin project.
Okay, thank you. All right, then to our Commissioners' report. I will go to my left this morning.
This past week, I attended the Manx Town meeting on Wednesday evening. I was a little bit late getting there. We were busy chopping silage and broke down in the rain out in the field, so I was a little bit late getting there, but participated in the meeting. Just got there in time for when they were ready to call for my report, so barely got in the door. I also participated in the Southwest Water Conservation District's budget meeting this past week on Wednesday also. That took a couple hours. It's pretty much what I got done this last week.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Lindsay.
Yeah, a little bit to report this week, besides some phone calls, and of course, you go to the store, anytime you're in there for 10 minutes, you end up being in there an hour, so talking to folks, but some good ideas put forth out there. I did attend the city council meeting. They renewed some liquor licenses and had some public hearings, did some resolutions. I think one of the things that really stood out was they're going to demobilize their power plant out at the water treatment plant. They did write a letter of support, authorize a letter of support for Region 9 for the Middle Mile Fiber Network. And they had some postponements of a few things. They also approved an ordinance for reclassification of large home-based child care facilities. It lowered or increased the number of kids that could be there per square foot. They also awarded a bid amount, $46,000, to authorize city manager to negotiate into a professional services contract for housing needs assessment. And then made a few changes, and it was kind of a long meeting. That night I didn't get out of there until about 9:30. Also attended and went over to the Veterans Stand Down on Saturday afternoon. I got there just, they were getting ready to shut down and leave. And then I went to the fly-in south of town for a little bit and talked to some old friends down there and some old pilots. And that's quite an event. I look forward to next year. That's about all I have.
All right, very good. As our administrator stated, we attended the Montezuma Water Board meeting on Tuesday night, basically asking for consideration to not have to purchase a 4-inch membership fee due to the fact that that's a static line and it's going to our suppression system out at the fairgrounds, and we will be waiting for confirmation on a decision from them at a later date. We spent most of the day Thursday budgeting, which was a long day, but we got a lot accomplished that day, so our budget process is going very well at this point in time. I did go out to the CSU Research Center Saturday morning. picked apples with my granddaughters. That was a great event. There was, gosh, I cannot begin to tell you how many people that were out there. But the county roads were lined with people going in and out of that event for apples, cider, so on and so forth. So great event. Went down later to the fly-in, like Commissioner Lenzer stated. There were a lot of aircraft down there, a lot of people. Pretty good event by the city. Thank you. And then I was late getting to the veterans stand then. I made it even later, and they were all but walking out the door. So I didn't, my Saturday was very full. We had our workshop yesterday, which again, we discussed the farmer's market as far as wanting to expand into the southern parking lot here below the museum. We talked about the Southern Health Partners for jail service. We talked about the waivers for the senior center. We talked about the landfill, compost turner, the CSU extension agent, and the Annex 3 project. And with that, that will conclude my report. Gentlemen, do you have anything else?
No.
All right.
I move we adjourn.
Till 1:30.
We are going to recess, and we will be back as the E911
That's
board at 1:30.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We will recess this meeting until 1:30. Thank you all.